I owe this game my job, my house, and even my wife. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why Vince is a bastard, how I took my revenge 15 years later, and how the Lord of the Rings saved my hobby journey and brought me here. Oh, and I'm going to paint all these minis for the White Hand.
What about very old friend?
It was too late to save me. My first time in a GW store was in 2000 with my uncle. He is the one who made me discover the Warhammer hobby. Back in the time, he had some high elves and skeletons for Warhammer Battle. The first time I saw the miniatures, I completely loved the idea and went with him in a GW store. I started with the 40k 3rd generation box because I loved the Land Speeder. And the Dark Eldars reminded me of the Frieza soldier from DBZ. I love Dragon Ball. Then I started to build and paint perfectly, absolutely, an army, and it was finally time for my first battle. My grandma brought me to a GW store. I was so excited, and this is when I met someone called Vincent. Vince in English. Yeah, the Vince, which was going to teach me the game. This guy took my ass and slapped it so hard that I couldn't sit down for a month. It's not true, but it's how I felt. I played 3 turns and he obliterated me. I killed only one of his miniatures. That was my first and last game of 3rd edition of 40k. And I didn't play until the 6th edition. But in the meantime, I bought some Lord of the Rings miniatures. My grandma bought me miniatures. Thanks! And lucky me, 2 twins in my building had shown interest in my miniatures game and started the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game with me. We had so much fun! Some of my best memories of this period was with them. But one day, my family moved in another town and I never saw them again. By the way, this move made me stop the hobby. I didn't have anyone to play with and I found a real passion for skateboarding. Okay, now I'm gonna start the painting journey with the 20 Uruk warriors. What is cool with Middle-earth strategy battle game miniatures is that they are easy to paint in most cases. They have a more realistic look, but if you want to make some bright and saturated painting, you can. To paint the warriors, I started with the main color, the medal. I did the base coat with dry brush. I think it looks more realistic. Once it was done, I shaded all the armor with a brown shade to make it look more dirty, because in real life the Uruk-Hai are not in a clean armor. The majority of the miniatures is already painted. There are only 3 colors left to paint. Told you that Middle-earth strategy battle games painting was quick, so I based the skin with a reddish dark brown, the cloth with a dark leather tone, and based in black what was left like the hair and some strap of the armor. Once it was done, I washed everything with the same wash. I was not too heavy-handed on the armor. I wanted it dirty but not too much. So I applied the wash only on some areas, the ones closest to the ground and on random areas to mimic the dirt in real life. And then, once the shade was dry, I highlighted every part. The skin with a lighter tone than before, the cloth and the black parts in the same way, and obviously the armor with a really shiny metallic. I tried to simulate some battle damage on the shield by applying random brush strokes on it. The warriors are almost done, but I want to take a little bit of time to paint the white hand on them. They are finished!
here is the reveal. In 2012, the movie The Hobbit came out in theaters. I was a student in Aix-en-Provence. Yes, just like Bradley Cooper.
J'étudiais à Aix-en-Provence.
And with my friend from college, we went and watched this movie. I hadn't think about Middle-earth since I stopped playing The Lord of the Rings. Watching The Hobbit made me think of this period, and after the movie, all my good memories playing the games were back in my head. And I couldn't ignore them.
And what about very old friends?
3 days later, I went in the GW store of Aix-en-Provence and bought a box of Galadrim. It was too late to save me. Then I met one of my best friends in the hobby, Thomas, and together we played a tons of games of Lord of the Rings. For me, it was too late. I came back so hard in the hobby that only 1 year after, I already had 3 completed armies for Middle-earth and 2 for 40k. 2 more years and I had 7 armies of Middle-earth, 4 for 40k, 2 for Warhammer Fantasy Battle and 1 for Horus Heresy. And you know what? My dear friend Thomas met a girl and at this time I was single. Not for long. One night we went to the bar together. He came with his girlfriend and guess who his girlfriend came with? Her sister! It was the first time I met my future wife. All of this happened because I went in the GW store to buy a box of Galadrim. Life is crazy. Now it's time for the 24 Uruk-Hai's Scouts. I started painting the same way than the warriors because I wanted the metallic parts to look the same, but maybe it was not the best idea. Because majority of the miniatures is cloth. Then I moved onto the cloth and painted them entirely with the same color than on the warriors. I wanted to have 2 colors for the cloth, but I think it's easier to paint all in one color and then to use another base color where you need it. Then I based the skin with the same paint than the warriors. And for the last base coat, I used black. It worked for the hair, for some straps and for cloth. I randomly chose some areas on the cloth to be in black so that the scouts don't all look the same side by side. Then I shaded everything again, even the armor. They ran in the woods to catch the hobbits, so a second layer of wash should not be too much. Once the shade was done, I moved on to the highlights. I used the exact same color than on the warriors. It's better to do that for the army coherence. They are finished! It's time for the reveal! A few years later, Thomas and I were part of a team for 40k competitive during the 7th edition. We are in 2016 and at this time I had a good job, so I had money to spend on miniatures. A friend living 5 minutes away who played as much game as I played. And already my beautiful girlfriend who is correcting my accent right now for you to have a better video than if I speak like a random French people. We play 1 to 3 times a week in the evening of multi-games and every Sunday we trained hard for the national competition of 40k with the team. Now, Vince is back. It's the qualification for the main event. We're against another team and in this team someone looks familiar to me. I asked him his name, it was Vincent, and asked him if in early 2001 he has played against a kid who stole his captain.
Yes, I did that. I was really sad and angry. I wanted him to feel bad, so I took his captain. I was 9 years old, but anyway, he said yes. I looked at him right in the eyes and told him, mec, je vais t'éclater le cul tellement fort que tu marcheras pas pendant 3 mois. And you know what? I destroyed him in 3 turns. On the 4th turn, he had only the basic troop on his objective, hiding behind a ruin. It was my best 22-0 ever. Felt so good. Don't slap my ass or I'll find you and I'll destroy you in 15 years. I'm a little bit resentful. Not too much. Just a little bit.
Oh, it's time for the characters. Saruman the White and Grima. These minis are new sculpts for Middle-earth strategy battle game. I want to paint them since the announcement.
I started with a base coat of beige using an airbrush for 2 main reasons. First, I also tried the Fanatic paint range on this project for a future video. And second, beige. This kind of light colors are always way easier to do with an airbrush. Then with a lighter beige, I highlighted Saruman from the top. And that's it for the airbrush. I moved on to the brush. I started with the skin to break the monotony of the mini. With a miniature which has almost only one color on it, it's better to do the focal point, in this case the head, as quick as possible. It will look closer to the finished model and will help you to make better choices of shades and highlights for other colors. I used a diluted dark skin tone applied almost like a wash. As the mini is full white, it's good to start like this. Then I built up my highlight with lighter skin tones to the point where I was happy with it. Once the face was done, I painted the hair to finish the focus point of the mini. I shaded them with a neutral grey to have a different white between the hair and the cloth. Then I shaded the white with the initial color to add more contrast. Once dry, I highlighted the hair and the beard with pure white. After that, the main part of the mini was done. I moved onto the black for the staff and the horse. Then I made some other colors like leather, highlighted everything that still needed to be highlighted, and voila! Saruman was done. It was time to move on to Grima. As a dark character, I started directly with the highlights. I made these highlights with the dot technique to get a dirty effect on the cloth. I used a dark blue to highlight the back and a dark brown to highlight the front. Then I did the face by base coating the skin and highlighted it. And painted his tissue and voila! Told you that Middle-earth strategy battle game minis are quick to paint. Even characters.
They are finished! Here is the reveal.
So, as you can imagine, I was deep in the hobby. And in 2019, I left my job to become a full-time commission painter. Then launched a YouTube channel and here I am. Everything happening now in my life is because I had so much fun with 2 twins which I never saw again 20 years ago. And because in college, my friend and I went to watch The Hobbit. That's also why I love this trilogy. Really good feelings are attached to it for me. Life is surprising. Don't underestimate little moments of your life. It could change your life forever. Today, I'm really excited about the new edition of the game and really happy to have painted the Isengard Battleost to play Middle-earth again.
And here we are, the end of my painting journey. Here is the grand reveal.
Thanks for watching, please subscribe, bye!